Alright, so let's take a quick look at this login, and I'll just move myself out of the way. And what we're going to try and do first is let's just log in as admin, something that's always worth trying. And we get, incorrect credentials, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to come over to Web Suite, come to our proxy, HTTP history, and we can see that it's hitting the endpoint 002.php. And you can see our username and password and the response that comes back. So I'm going to send this to repeater, and we could do the same. We could send this to intruder, fuzz for SQL injection, and we'd probably fuzz this area here. So we'd get, do our usual quotes and things like this. And all I'm going to do is send this so I can see the response again. So I can see that the content length is 86, and I can see what the expected or normal response is. First, let's take a look at what we think the query might be. So this is just so I can try and explain this a little bit better and hopefully get you into the mindset of trying to understand what's happening behind the hood and then testing your theory to see whether you're correct. So the theory probably looks something like select all from users, where username equals username and password equals password. And these are probably variables, so we'll just put them like this. So first off, what we can try and do is we can try and manipulate the username and add our or1 equals 1, and then comment out the rest of the code. Or we can try and add our payload to the end of the password and do or1 equals 1, and then we should be good to go. And let's just give this a try and see what happens. So we have or1 equals 1, and we'll send this, and we get, incorrect credentials still. Now that's interesting. So that means that we either didn't manipulate the query in the right way, or this isn't vulnerable to SQL injection. So we kind of got ahead of ourselves a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just send a single quote here and see whether we do have SQL injection. And as you can see, we trigger an error, and so we probably do have SQL injection, but our payload is just incorrect. So my next theory is that this query here, instead of being unquoted, these may be put in quotes. And I know this just from having a background as a developer. There are many ways to write SQL. So what we can try and do is try and add our payload. So knowing that we can inject into here, so we could inject something like A, close this quote, and then put our or1 equals 1. And you'll notice that we have this trailing quote at the end. So to deal with this, instead of doing or1 equals 1, we can do or1 equals 1 like this to make sure the syntax is correct. And there are some other ways of dealing with this. We could do or1 equals 1 and then try and end the query so that this trailing quote becomes a comment. But you can try out different ways and see what works for you. So I'm just going to copy and paste this, put this in here, hit send, and we get success. We're logged in as admin. Let's try this on the front end as well. We're logged in as admin. So this is a really powerful concept to know, as it can be used against many vulnerable endpoints, regardless of whether it's a login or not. So that's it for SQL injection. In the next video, we'll cover NoSQL injection, something that you're definitely going to run into if you do a lot of testing of APIs. After that, we have a nice challenge to tackle over on the crappy application, which will prepare us nicely for the mid-course capstone. See you there.